7 seconds. That's all it takes for a stranger to form a complete judgment about you based on your car. Not 7 minutes, 7 seconds. And some people have figured out how to weaponize those 7 seconds. They wrap their vehicles in chrome finishes that shift color in sunlight, in matte black that screams sophistication, in neon pink that refuses to be ignored. To most observers, this seems like vanity or attention seeking, but the psychology behind wrapping a car reveals something far more complex about human nature and how we construct identity in the modern world. The car wrap industry is exploding. The global market was valued at $3.54 billion in 2024 and is projected to hit $15.32 billion by 2033. That's not just growth, that's a cultural shift. Something fundamental is changing in how people relate to their vehicles, and it's happening faster than most realize. Here's what makes this fascinating. A car is one of the few possessions you actually inhabit. You don't just own it, you occupy it daily, sometimes spending more waking hours inside it than in your bedroom. So, when someone wraps their car, they're not decorating an object. They're redesigning a space they live in, a space that moves through the world broadcasting their identity to thousands of strangers every single week. Research in consumer psychology identified 4 dimensions that create emotional attachment between people and products: self-expression, memories, pleasure, and group affiliation. Car wrapping hits all 4 simultaneously. That iridescent purple wrap isn't just aesthetic preference, it's a carefully chosen statement about who this person is and which tribe they belong to. Consider color psychology for a moment. Red wraps attract people who crave attention and associate themselves with speed and passion. These are confident individuals making bold choices. Black evokes power and sophistication, chosen by those who want elegance without flash. Blue communicates trust and stability. Someone wrapping their car navy blue is often signaling professionalism and dependability. But here's where it gets interesting. Pink wraps represent playful rebellion, a deliberate break from conformity. Chrome and holographic finishes channel pure futurism and spectacle. These aren't random preferences. They're psychological profiles displayed on 4 wheels. What most people miss is the control factor. Modern life feels increasingly chaotic and unpredictable. Economic uncertainty, political turbulence, technological changes that outpace our ability to adapt. Where do you find stability? For many, the answer sits in their driveway. A wrapped car represents complete autonomy. You decide everything: the color, the finish, the design, every single detail. No committee, no manager, no family member gets a vote. It's a domain of absolute authority in a world where control feels rare. And unlike a permanent paint job that costs thousands and locks you into one look forever, wraps are reversible. This temporary nature appeals to something deeper. It reflects how younger generations, particularly millennials and Gen Z, approach identity itself. They don't want permanent commitments. They value adaptability and the freedom to evolve as their tastes change. There's also a practical angle that amplifies the psychological appeal. High-quality wrap film protects factory paint from scratches, UV rays, and road salt. When removed, the original finish looks brand new, boosting resale value. This dual functionality, aesthetic transformation plus paint protection, makes wrapping attractive to both expressive and pragmatic personality types. But the really compelling psychology emerges when you examine what happens at gas stations and parking lots. Wrapped cars don't just exist, they perform. Strangers approach to compliment the design, kids pull out phones for selfies, other enthusiasts strike up conversations about wrap brands and installation techniques. These interactions aren't superficial. They're feeding fundamental human needs that modern society often fails to satisfy. Think about that for a second. In an era where genuine human connection happens increasingly through screens, where community institutions have weakened, where you can live in an apartment building for years without knowing your neighbor's name, a wrapped car creates instant social bridges. That stranger at the pump isn't just admiring vinyl. They're recognizing a kindred spirit, someone who values the same things they do. The wrap community operates like any tribe throughout human history. There are gatherings, car meets where hundreds show up to display their vehicles. These aren't casual events. They're rituals. People drive hours to attend, carefully parking in organized rows, walking around asking technical questions about installation methods and vinyl brands. Status within this world doesn't come from job titles or income. It comes from creativity, craftsmanship, and dedication to the culture. Anthropologists who study hobbyist communities Notice these groups develop their own languages and hierarchies. Car wrap enthusiasts speak in terms civilians don't understand. They debate matte versus gloss finishes, discuss proper heat application techniques, compare experiences with different installers. This specialized knowledge creates belonging. You're either in or you're out, and being in feels meaningful, but there's a rebellion angle worth examining. Every wrapped car is a small act of defiance against automotive conformity. Walk through any parking lot and you'll see endless rows of silver, white, and black vehicles rolling off assembly lines identical to millions of others. A neon green wrap with geometric patterns screams refusal to accept that sameness. This isn't violent protest. It's aesthetic rebellion, a way of asserting individuality in a world that mass produces everything. For younger generations especially, this matters psychologically. They grew up being told to stand out, to be unique, to express themselves, yet they entered a world of standardized everything. Wrapping a car becomes one of the few affordable ways to genuinely differentiate yourself. That chameleon finish shifting colors as you drive past isn't just pretty. It's a declaration of independence. The status element can't be ignored either. Customization costs money. A quality full wrap runs several $1,000s. Installing it yourself requires skill and patience. Either way, you're broadcasting capability. You either have disposable income for professional installation or the technical competence to do it yourself. Both signal success within the community's value system. There's also the Instagram factor amplifying everything. A uniquely wrapped car photographs beautifully. It generates likes, comments, shares. Social media transformed cars into content, and wraps are inherently photogenic. The psychological reward loop is powerful. You wrap your car, post photos, receive validation from hundreds of people, feel motivated to do more. The digital and physical worlds reinforce each other. Even environmental consciousness is entering the psychology now. Manufacturers are developing recyclable and biodegradable wrap materials. Avery Dennison recently launched an entire line focused on sustainability. This appeals to people who want their self-expression to align with their values. You can have that bold purple finish and feel good about minimizing environmental impact. What wrapping a car ultimately reveals is how humans navigate identity in the modern world. We're caught between mass production and the desire for uniqueness, between digital existence and physical presence, between conformity and rebellion. A wrapped vehicle resolves these tensions. It takes something mass-produced and makes it singular. It creates real-world community while generating digital content. It follows traffic laws while breaking aesthetic norms. So, when you see that holographic Tesla or matte black pickup truck, recognize what you're actually witnessing. Someone invested time, money, and creative energy into transforming their daily transportation into a rolling statement about who they are. That's not vanity. That's human nature seeking expression through whatever canvas it can find. The next time someone dismisses a wrapped car as excessive or pointless, remember there's a deeper story being told. That chrome finish represents someone's need for control in an uncontrollable world. That bold pattern is feeding a fundamental human craving for community and recognition. That color choice is broadcasting identity to a society that too often makes people feel invisible. Car wrapping isn't really about cars at all. It's about autonomy, creativity, belonging, and the eternal human drive to say, this is me, this is who I am, and I matter. Whether someone chooses subtle matte gray or eye-searing holographic pink, they're participating in the same psychological process humans have always engaged in. We mark our territory. We signal our tribe. We express our inner world through our outer possessions. The wrap is just modern paint on cave walls, a way of leaving your mark on the world while you're still here to see it.